There are lots of cool and fun ways to practice drawing live caricatures, and everyone's heard of the method to practice, 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 and get good at what you do before you go out and draw. But there is a little-known form of practice that works just as good, if not better, and I could call it ATG practice, that is, after the gig practice. In this video, I'm going to show you my secret after the gig practice. Let's start drawing. Okay, the first thing I'm going to do is get my paper. It's 11 by 14 premium color copy cardstock. Actually, it's called color cover copy cardstock. Say that 3 times fast. It's kind of like a tongue twister. And I'm going to tape it down in my sketchbook because I want it to show correctly on this video, and I'm going to use the same type of paper that I do at my events. Okay, this is how I practice after the event. So, I took some photos at this latest event that I did last week, and this guy has a great face for a caricature, but I don't think I did exactly right. I'm seeing his face. He has a long neck and like a compressed head shape, if that makes sense. It's almost like a box. So this is what I'm going to do, is do a silhouette sketch. And I'm like exaggerating his neck there. Okay, that's all the sketch I'm going to do. Right now I'm basically doing a composition, which is arranging things on a page in a way that looks good. Now what I'm actually going to do is use a totally different photo. The lady on this photo, I like her face, and the way I took the photo, she's actually facing that way a little bit. And so I think it's going to make a cool composition, and I want to practice drawing her face. So basically what I'm doing here is I'm thinking of the shape. And just to think out loud, the bottom part of her face, I'd say eye level to chin, I'm thinking of that as a heart shape, if that makes sense, a heart shape. And then the top of her head and her hair is to this side like this. Okay, and that is my composition. And this is really a simple exercise. I'm kind of giving away the secret of the exercise before I even do it, and I hope that doesn't ruin the video. I don't think it will, but the secret of the exercise is basically I am going to draw them again. But this time, I'm going to try to do much better than what I did before. It's just as simple as that. I did it at the event. I did it live, quickly, the best that I could. They really liked it, but I took a photo of it, and now when I get home, I'm thinking to myself, oh, I could have done so much better, so let me give it a try. And then I think what's going to happen is my subconscious is going to recognize the difference between what I've done at home, which is hopefully much better, and what I did live. And then my brain is just going to be working on improving my artwork, even while I sleep, because I did this after the gig practice. So I'm just going to start with his eyes. I'm trying to make sure my line work is good. A little highlight, and then the pupil. This guy's wearing a hat, so sometimes the eyebrows are underneath the brim of the hat. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and draw the brim of the hat. That way I can draw his eyebrow without, having to guess where the brim of the hat would be. I'm noticing some patterns about his face. Like I said, I think it's a boxy face. It's compressed in this way. Compressed, and then he has a long neck. But also I'm seeing these wrinkle lines. They go in this way like this. I don't have to draw every wrinkle or else he's going to look like he's 90 years old. But I want to be aware of those patterns of like the muscles in his face around his eyes, because I think they're distinctive and different from other people's. His eyebrows thin, and it has kind of a sharp angle to it. Nose. It's kind of boxy. I'm going to kind of bring it up a little bit because I'm going to make the whole head boxy. If you look at what I drew when I was live and at the event, I think I made his head too long. And so I'm going to try to fix that by shrinking it this way. And like I said, they loved the drawing. So they didn't think I drew his face too long or I did something wrong. But for me, I'm like, oh man, thinking to myself, I could definitely do better. And so it's like a compulsion, you know? I know I could draw it better if I had another chance. And so when I'm at home, I am going to try and draw it better. But I'm still not doing too much of a sketch because I'm kind of trying to simulate the conditions of a live event. I think I'm going to do my basic teeth, which is basically lines that get thinner in the middle and thicker near the lips. Can't see much of his top lip because of his mustache. And then the mustache, instead of drawing all the hairs to start with, I'm going to draw it like as a cartoon shape. I'm drawing some hairs in there. And sometimes when I fill in a mustache, I don't draw. A teacher called it a ladder, where you're drawing every line perfectly spaced, like that. It starts to look mechanical and unnatural. So I'll draw 1, 2 hairs, 1 hair, 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1. I don't know, and it looks kind of stylish, but at the same time, it's not like mechanical and boring. I don't always do it that way, but this is the way I'm doing it on this face. It's like every face you're making different choices or requires different choices. And there's more than one way to skin a cat, is what my dad used to say. And he has these smile lines. Can't forget those. Alright, switching to my big marker. This is where I'm doing my thick outlines. And here I'm kind of breaking the outline because of his beard. Something I have been noticing that is flawed with my drawings that I need to work on is not, if he's turned very slightly in a 3/4 direction facing that way. And so there's more of this side of his face showing than this side. And a lot of times I don't draw enough on that side. I really need to pull it out much further. I'm trying to work on that. just go over this. Alright, now he does have big ears, so I could even exaggerate the ears a little bit. This event that I drew at, it was an event for people who work in the auto glass industry, and that is people that come out roadside and change the glass in like your windshield. If you have a crack or a break in your windshield. And I'm sure they have a shop where they do that type of work too, but they also come out. And it was like a convention for people who work in that industry from all over the United States and other countries as well. There was a guy there from a different country, and not only did they get together at this nice resort and throw a party, cool food and stuff, but they also had competitions, like who could change glass on an automobile the fastest, and you know, do it with the best quality. And I'm sure there was prizes for people who won those competitions, and I guarantee you there's bragging rights for stuff like that. But that's just one of the type of events that people hire entertainment for. But it's cool to ask them why they're there and what's going on. So I kind of, his neck is kind of long, so I exaggerated it a little bit. Okay, now let's finish his beard with the small side of this Tombow marker. This is my cheat for drawing sunglasses, so that I don't have to fill in the entire sunglass. I start with like a corner that's totally black with ink, and then lines that get progressively further and further away, wider and wider. It's not perfect, but it kind of looks like a reflection and like a gradient of light on the sunglasses. Okay, time to draw this other one, and this one is a challenge because I have drawn so many people looking in that direction, believe it or not. I've drawn thousands and thousands probably, and I draw very few people looking in that direction, so that is a weakness in my game, so to speak. I need to draw people looking that way. I know that's hilarious, but it happens. So, first thing I'm doing is drawing the eyebrow, the eyelash. So that's why I don't ink in the outline first, because let's say I accidentally drew this in the wrong spot, this eye. Well, then I can adjust. I can pull the whole thing over. But if I have drawn the outline first, and then you draw the eye in the wrong spot, you can no longer adjust. You are stuck with what you just drew unless you restart the whole drawing. Now her eyebrow over here is kind of dark, and I think a really good way I can draw that is just with a black line, and that's it. Whereas over here I kind of drew a shape and then hairs inside that shape. For hers, I think it looks better with just a thick black line. But I've drawn so many people from this angle that when I draw someone looking the other way, I feel like I'm drawing backwards in a mirror. So basically I've got to practice this 1,000 times until drawing from this angle feels just as natural as the other. So even though I've been doing this for over 10 years, I'm always learning. So far, so good. And the way I'm drawing her reminds me of an artist that I used to work with at Walt Disney World. I don't know if he's watching this video, but his name was Jeff Carrier. And he was left-handed, and a lot of his drawings looked like this. And I'm not trying to, but when I drew this lady, I'm almost accidentally, without consciously trying, drawing in his style. I mean, for her, this is not his style, but for some reason, as I draw this one, Jeff Carrier's style is kind of coming through me a little bit. And I think that's because I used to watch him. He had been drawing for like 20 years when I first got there on my first day. And I used to watch him, take photos of his drawings, and practice them when I got home. So that is another method of practice, and that is master studies. And it doesn't have to be Michelangelo, but an artist that you think is great, you want to copy their work. But when you copy their work, you're thinking about it. You're not trying to pretend like you're them. You're trying to understand, why did they draw this line, or why did they draw that line where they drew it. Then once you know that, and you're drawing your own original caricatures, it takes you to the next level. It adds to your toolbox, adds to your skills. Okay, so the bottom half of her face was very much, to me, it looks like a heart. This pen is drying up on me. Let me grab another one and see if that will help. Her ear is relatively small compared to his, so I'll draw it even smaller. The ink is running out on that one too, eh? So, and because she has dark hair, I'm going to go ahead and color it in. And what I'm doing is, I'm thinking of all this as a shape. It's almost like it's a lasagna noodle, this area from here to here. And I'm going to start here on this corner and just pull a marker along that shape, letting it fade out as it stretches. Then same thing starting from here. Okay, and then the part where the marker didn't touch, those are highlights. And then I'm going to start from this area and do the same thing on this lasagna noodle shape. Then the same thing from here. Alrighty, now let's see, we're going to draw her neck. About the collarbone, shoulders. That's another thing that I need to learn is drawing better shoulders. I pretty much stick to the face, especially when I'm trying to draw a lot of people. That's the main thing anyway, and so I do stick to the face, and but if I draw more of the shoulders, I think it's going to be even nicer, add more value, and you can't go wrong by always adding more value, always trying to get better and add more value for the clients. All right, and then accessories. She has a cross on. Alrighty, and then this is how I sign it. I always put the year, JT. That stands for James Thomas. That's me. And so that is my practice drawing. Now I'm going to kind of analyze it, look at it, and see if it's better than my original, and how I could even improve it even more. Okay, when I look at all of these drawings, and I did a third one, I can see a progression of quality in each one. On the original drawing, it's kind of basic and generic, but not too bad. And then on the second try, I got a better composition, more details, and it's nice. And this third one is my favorite. I got more cartoony, more stylish, and more dynamic. And what I'm hoping will happen is that my subconscious will recognize that I'm doing multiple drawings to try and improve. And it will recognize the difference in quality from each drawing, and that it will, my mind will, automatically start working on this, even when I'm sleeping, to be able to increase the quality of my drawings at live events. That's what doing after the gig practice can do for you. And if you like that drawing exercise, I think you're going to love my video on my top 4 caricature drawing exercises of all time. I'll leave a link in the description to that video and an in-screen link. So until the next video, I hope you keep practicing and get better at drawing what you love.